Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we are reviewing slash fun factoring Mixtape. This is a new game that dropped recently on Game Pass, which is how I played with this game. So this is in the perspective of paying that monthly fee for Game Pass and playing that game there. So I'm going to start with what I think is the strongest topic of this game and then slowly move down to what I think is the worst aspect of the game. So let's get right into this review. Now, the very first topic I think is its strongest point is the visuals, the audio, and the graphics. Visually, this game's kind of going with that cel-shaded art style, kind of with the stop motion animation. So you get the animation that isn't a solid 60 FPS by the characters. So a lot of them have that kind of like Into the Spider-Verse, Miles Morales animation style to them, which personally I like. Aside the characters, all the characters being animated, that visually I thought the environments looked beautiful. I thought a lot of the just art style of a lot of the smaller objects in general were very pretty. I even found the main menu being like a CD with a little reflection on it. Really nice, good visual detail. Now, the audio is something to really write a home about this game, because the audio in this game is a lot of music from the 90s. And a lot of these songs I personally never heard of before I played this game. I know this might make a lot of people cringe when I said that, but I did not know a lot of those songs. But throughout this game, how they set up the music to kind of continue the story beat was very creative, and I actually really vibed with a lot of those songs in the moment and stuff like that. Now to talk about what is probably the second biggest thing in this game, which is the story. Now, the story is kind of overall a generic coming to age style story, but in my opinion, it's the execution of it, mixing with how they're kind of mixing that music, which I previously talked about, with the story and the character beats and all that, that really makes the story, in my opinion. Now, it isn't anything super special, again, like I said, but I still vibed with the story. I think if you don't like how the characters act and stuff like that, they're very much party kids. They're trying to party before the next day because that's when one of them's leaving town and the last time they'll probably see each other. So they're trying to make it one big last party before one of them leaves town. So it's a very heartwarming story of, especially if you've ever experienced it, kind of just saying, you know, the end of high school's happening, a lot of people part their ways. It's kind of relatable for a lot of people in that aspect. I do think the music really helped with the character moments and then the story beats. Overall, I had fun with the story, and I did kind of want to see how the story ends. I kind of wish they did an epilogue, but overall, when the game ended, I did find it a little abrupt ending, but I still found it sweet and on a wholesome ending. Now to talk about what is easily the weakest part of the game, which is the gameplay. There's not a lot of gameplay in this game. And unlike other story-driven games like Telltale and stuff like that, you don't really have dialogue choices. So this is more of a walking sim in the vibes of like Firewatch or something like that, where it is more you're walking point A to point B and you're experiencing a story being told to you. And if that's not your vibe, then that's fine. But I have played plenty of games like that before, kind of like Firewatch I mentioned before. And some of those games are really fun. So that didn't drive me personally away, but it is a con overall that there isn't too much gameplay. A lot of the gameplay is during these vibe moments, hit X on the controller to do a backflip on the skateboard. That is most of the gameplay. Or walking around a room, picking up objects, just to get more flashbacks and more character development and stuff like that. So overall, gameplay is the weakest point, but if you're okay with that, I would not stop that from you giving this game a try. My final thoughts on Mixtape. Now, I did play this off Game Pass. So, having played this off Game Pass, I actually bought a month just for this, and because Forza is coming out soon, to play this game. And obviously Forza. So I saw it as a little bonus game to play. My overall thoughts on Mixtape is, even though I was not the target audience and didn't have that nostalgia of being a teen in the 90s, I still liked the vibe of this game. And even though it has a very minimalistic gameplay and reminds me a lot of games such as Firewatch, which I personally don't mind, I can see some people not liking it due to that simplistic gameplay and it's very focused on 90s vibe. But I like the music, which until this game, I've never heard of any of these songs before because that's not really my type of music. But I liked how the music plays into the story and the story beats of three friends trying to have one last big party together before they most likely won't see each other again now that high school's over and they're going their separate ways. I think this game is a fun vibe. I love the art style, and that's kind of what the game's going for. It's kind of going for like a fun, silly vibe such as Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Considering this game is on Game Pass, I found it a good game to download real quick, boot up with my significant other, and basically treat it kind of like a 3-hour long movie night. Very interactive. The art style is fun. I actually liked a lot of the songs in the game, especially in the story beats that it was used for. It just felt right in that moment. And I found this game just fun overall. Now, if you like this review, maybe consider following me on this channel. And hopefully, if you have any games you want me to take a look at, old, new, or whatever, just put it in the comments and I'll give it a check out. And hopefully, I catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.